we're here. Brilliant. Okay, what a beautiful day today.
It is. It's gorgeous. It's so hot. So I had a quick top change.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
It is. I mean, it's 20 degrees this morning, which in the UK is quite an achievement at sort of 8:30.
It is. Well, I think we're 32 or something tomorrow when I'm heading back home.
Right.
So yes, it's going to be hot.
Indeed. But we can live with it. I mean, we shouldn't complain.
Oh, we can. We shouldn't complain. This is summer.
Right. Okay. I'm just hoping for a bit cooler on Sunday because I'm doing my first 10K. So.
Oh wow! Well done, Stephen.
Thank you. I was sort of coaxed into it. Angelica and Katie, her daughter, did the Race for Life 10K back in May, and then they said, I wonder if there's a race for men, and they found one in Newbury, and they've entered Katie's boyfriend Darren and myself, so we have to take part now, and looking forward to it. Right, okay, to everyone, welcome, and happy to be here today. This is a regular show which we've moved from Blab to Fire Talk. Good afternoon, Claire.
Good afternoon, Stephen and David, right, and anyone else that's listening at the moment.
Well, that's the other thing. We don't know who exactly is watching because people can watch this without logging in, which is a change from Blab. So we may well have a bigger audience. Now, Claire and I have known each other for the last 12 years. Claire is the author of Time Management for Dummies, of which I have a signed copy, although it's out of date. And today's topic is how to control your to-do list. Now, I've got a first question, I suppose, has got to be, why do we need a to-do list?
Oh, I think I talk to people quite often about their to-do lists, and some people say, oh, I never write a to-do list. I've got it all in my head, or I know what it is that I need to do. And I think that the primary reason for having a to-do list is that you can then look at what it is that you need to do and plan your day. In the book, I refer to them as action lists. So a lot of people tend to have a to-do list which just it's an A4 sheet of paper, and it gets longer and longer and longer. They keep adding things to it, and it loses any sense of structure or organization. So thinking more about having an action list, which is the actions that you are going to do today.
Okay, right. Okay, so we take it one day at a time. Now, in order to get to that stage, where do we start?
Well, you start by going right back to goals, objectives that you aim for. It's your personal life, business, work, and you look at the sort of what do I want to achieve this year, in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months. 3 months is quite a good planning time because it's long enough without thinking the year is too far out in the distance. And then your to-dos are, there's day-to-day to-do stuff, and there's things that are going to help you to achieve your goals. They should all be part and parcel of the same thing, but quite often we end up with a lot of admin-y stuff. But if you have a to-do list or a plan for your day, your week, your month, you know where you are, you know what you need to on, and it helps you stay on track.
Okay. Would you categorize the list?
You certainly prioritize it, and it's like with a lot of these things, there's no one size fits all solution. There's no one methodology that is going to work, and that's what you've got to follow, and that's what you've got to stick to. There are lots of different ways of working and managing your to-do list, your daily actions, your plan. I quite like pen and paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sounds strange. I use technology and apps to do everything. I do use a to-do list app. I do track stuff online and have checklists and worksheets that I work with, but I actually like to have a diary type to-do list management system, and you can have one that you just make up organically that fits the way you work, and bullet journaling is one way of doing it. And there's something else I came across recently, which is, I think it's called self-journaling. That there's lots and lots of different books around that will enable you to create your to-do list, your goals and your actions for the week.
All right. I mean, back in the day, I read Getting Things Done by David Vaughan.
That's certainly one methodology that works for a lot of people, and you can certainly take elements from that and use it in a way that works for you. But it's really understanding how you work and then adapting the how do I know what I need to do today, and how does that fit in with my 1 week, 1 month, 3 month goals, objectives, and find something that works for you.
Yeah. Right, just a technical point here. We can't see you. Sound is perfect. If you want to pop out and pop back in again, I'll edit the video afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Good.
So, right. Sorry about this technical glitch. We are pioneers in video broadcasting, and Claire's just intimated she's not at home today, so there's the strength of the signal on broadband is not as normal. So I'm just waiting for Claire to come back in again and say hi. And I've discovered how to edit these broadcasts, so I'll edit the finished version, which will be up on YouTube later in the week. And here we go again. Okay. Hang on. Right, we have vision. Okay, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better than last time. Okay, so
Did you hear me completely?
It's not as good as the usual signal. It comes and goes.
Right, I'm not sitting right on top of the router this time, which I usually am.
Oh, right, okay.
Hopefully it's good enough.
It is. Oh, yeah, certainly.
Okay.
Right, okay. Now, we got onto, can you tell me a little bit about the 80-20 rule?
Yes, the 80-20 is quite a useful way of managing your time generally, as well as your to-do list when you feel that there's just so much on there that there's too much to do. Is the 80-20 is based on what's called the Pareto principle, which is around the idea, and it actually applies to lots of different things around you can achieve 80% of your results from 20% of your effort. Okay. So if you think of how that relates to your to-do list, you'll get 80% of the results that you want towards your goals and your outcomes from 20% of what's on your list. So if you prioritize and you focus on what's important on that list and do those, it will give you 80% of the results.
Right. Okay. Now, what applications could you use to help you? I mean, you say you prefer pen and paper, but some people like apps. What apps do you recommend?
Apps. I use Todoist as an app that downloads onto your phone and your tablet and your laptop, desktop computer, and it will sync up. There's a free version, there's a paid version. There is also there are apps like, I mean, you even get to-do lists in Outlook and Google Calendar, and you can put your to-do list in there, or you can use apps like Asana and Trello. I've used those more for managing slightly bigger projects, but again, you have those as your to-do list, and you can create them in a way that works best for you. Other apps. There are so many little to-do list apps around there. It's about finding one that works for you, that you like, that you know you're going to use, that if it syncs in with your calendar, with everything else that you've got, with the technology you've got, if you want a technology solution. Yeah,
I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? That with apps, you find one that you like and you use it for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you forget it.
Very, very true, David. David's just said that pen and paper is good because of the kinesthetic way of learning, and that's certainly something I find that your brain engages far better as you write, because not only are you thinking about what you're doing when you're writing it down, but you're more likely to remember it, and you can do much more creative things with pen and paper by using colour, using different types of lettering, different categories. I think it engages the brain more, and it also helps to motivate in some respects, and there's nothing as satisfying as having a checklist with lots of little ticks on it. So there's nothing wrong, as I said, with pen and paper in this digital age. It's quite interesting how a lot of companies are now producing diaries and journals and schedules that allow you to create your to-do lists, your goals, track, review based on pen and paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now you mentioned earlier bullet journaling. Would you like to expand on that?
Mm-hmm. Bullet journaling is you start with a blank page, and the website is called bulletjournaling.com, and if you have a look on YouTube for bullet journaling, you'll find lots of people that are doing bullet journaling, and that will show you how they do their bullet journaling. It's a very creative way of having your diary, your to-do list, your goals all in one place. You essentially start with a blank page. You create your thank you, Stephen, your to-do list. You can have week planners, monthly planners that you write in as you go, so you don't have to stick to the strict structure of a daily diary or a week to a page. It's much more organic than that, and it looks great, and it appeals to me with the idea of the pen and paper.
Right, okay, David's saying we've got echo problems because of the headphones.
Okay, do you want me to? I have got some headphones here.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I agree, it's intermittent, David, so we'll see what we can do.
Grab those and see if that makes a difference. Untangle them.
Okay.
I did see something that had ways of not getting your headphones tangled.
There's no way to stop it.
There's no way
to stop it. Whether it's a long cable or a short cable, it still manages to get
right. Is that any better?
Okay, right, now we've assumed so far that your to-do list is simply for you. What happens when you've got a to-do list which is for a group of people? Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can't hear you now, Claire.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, yes.
Okay, great, I can hear you. All right,
okay.
That's good. Yeah, so hopefully that's okay.
Right, okay, back to where we were. Okay,
Yep.
So bullet journaling, David's heard of it, which is good. I hadn't till now. I'm going to go and check it out after we've finished chatting, and we'll bring David in 10 minutes or so to give his thoughts on it too. If we just keep going for another 5-10 minutes or so. Now, fine doing your own to-do list. What happens when you've got a group of people involved?
That's where some of the online applications and some of the, if you're working with a team, there's a lot of cloud-based project management, status tracking type software that's out there. Workfront is one of the companies I've done some work with who produced, it's more of a sort of project management tool that enables you to know who's doing what when, the status of various projects. You can allocate things using something like that, but also with things like Trello and Asana, you could essentially have a group to-do list on those. Todoist itself you can also share as an app, down to taking the simple pen and paper approach of having wall charts in the office, whiteboards, if that's what you're going to be using and that's what's working.
Right. Okay. Yep. So there's software out there to actually help with the group situation. Now, coming back to the topic we've mentioned before, which must be somewhere on the to-do list, and that's email. Because email can impinge, can't it?
It can, but I mean, email is part of the project you're working on. It's part of client work, running your business. So you have email as an activity that you do during the day, and whether you do it as, which I often recommend, I think we have covered on email on a previous talk, touching it 2-3 times a day at the most, or sometimes even just once or twice a day, that yes, perhaps it's on there on your to-do list. A lot of people recommend not doing email first thing, which I think is a lot of people's default approach when they're planning their time and what they need to do, is, oh, I'll do my email first thing in the morning, and then next thing you know, it's the middle of the morning and I haven't got anything else done.
True. I mean, email can take over. You did in a previous chat that we had cover all of that. You okay?
Yeah, sorry. Did you miss the sound on that? I just noticed I was losing you.
I think I'm okay. David, are we okay? I'm just waiting for David to. Right. Okay. We are good. Now, one thing which can have an effect on your own to-do list is delegating. What are your thoughts on delegating?
Definitely. Oh, very much so. It's a way of multiplying the time that you have available. If you essentially delegate the tasks that are on your to-do list, that do the ones that only you can do, but delegate the ones that you don't absolutely, not your immediate area of responsibility potentially, or that you know somebody else can do quicker, or they have skills to do it. Yes, certainly delegate those tasks or outsource them, and that'll help reduce your to-do list.
Okay. All right. Can we just sort of run over prioritizing? You appear in silhouette only at the moment.
Oh, do I?
Yes. Okay. Let's have one more go. If you back out and come back in again, and then.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And David says you're back. Okay. What I'm going to do, because we're enjoying the fun here, is David would like to come in too. Okay. All right. Okay. And brilliant. Okay. Thanks for joining us, David.
You're going to have the Overlord seat.
Yeah. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing is that 3 up. I do get sort of. Welcome back, Claire. We do get.
Hello, David.
On the recording. It's fine. Now, welcome, David. David meet Claire. Claire meet David. David and I know each other from lab. And Claire and I have known each other since forever and met in real life. So this networking brought us together. Now, David, you mentioned you've used bullet journaling.
I mentioned what about bullet journaling? It's a very good way to keep track. It's got a process that has to be learned, and so one of the problems that we humans like to keep is that when it requires work, we find an excuse to sit there and say, it doesn't work, or see, I told you it won't work, or something like that. So it's always but it's a good thing. It's kind of like, don't start off with bullet journaling, because you'll just get frustrated if you've never done. If you're not in the habit of doing.
We lost David. I was going to say, with the bullet journaling, something I came across very recently was the self-journaling, which is, and looks as though it's a similar idea to bullet journaling, but the journal itself is already created for you, so you just need to follow it through from day to day. And there was another one that I came across, again, very similar idea. It's all pre-printed. You start on whatever your day one is, and it's all there. You don't the process has already been mapped out for you. So there's lots of different ideas around there.
Yep, I agree. It's just, and this is probably speaking from personal experience, but experiences that I've seen others. Again, if we're not in the habit of...
Can you hear me okay, Stephen, still?
Yep. Okay. Sorry, David.
It sounds good, and we start off strong, but then, like I say, we find some type of resistance, and so it's a habit forming task that needs to be done. Any type of to-doing or anything of that nature is habit forming. So we just need to get into it. But I love bullet journaling. I think it's an awesome thing. I wish I did it more regularly, but I have other ways that work well for me. So,
as Claire said, it's a question of finding something that you're happy with.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's that's the other thing is we get.
I use a page a day diary, and I just divide that into a to-do list section, and I have my diary section. And what I've done this year is I've taken that, but with elements of the bullet journaling idea. So I have the forward or future plan, as they call it, which is what you divide up the year, and you can put certain actions that are going to happen in a particular month. You put those in there, so you don't have to worry about doing those until you get to that month. And then each month has a page that you add things to. So when, for instance, you get July, then I can pull off the activities that need to be done in July and put them into my diary. Yep. It also has, the diary itself has an overall year at a view, which again is quite useful for planning in longer term and looking at, in my case, workshops and things that are happening, having key dates in there. And what else do I put in there? Yeah, I think part of it's quite useful to have a review process as well, which again is something I've seen in certain elements with journaling, is reviewing progress on a daily or a weekly basis. What have you achieved? What did you learn? What do you need to take forward? What 1-2 things have you done to improve your own personal self-development? Because I think it's still very well having standard to-do lists that help us manage our work lives and our businesses, but also to think about the more holistic approach of our health and our general well-being as well.
One of the important things that I found I needed to do was get everything out of my head.
Just having a look at the...
And so that's why, in fact, I ran across somebody else.
Yeah, that's the that's the actual site, but it was a Kickstarter campaign, self-journal.
Yeah, Claire, can you actually hear David?
Can you hear me, Claire?
No, I can't hear David at all.
Ah, right. That explains it then. Yes.
Sorry.
You know that we Brits are normally polite, David. Our apologies for that. You've had this. Hang on. We've come across this.
I've lost David's picture completely.
Oh, right. Okay.
I can hear you, but I can't hear David. So apologies, David, if I was talking and not making any sense at all.
It's fine.
This is the wonders of technology.
It's fine though.
Do you want me to drop out and come back in again? Would that help?
Yeah, if we just try one. Yeah, go for it.
Shall I come out completely?
Yeah, if you go,
come out if I talk and then.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Right, I'll come out.
Sorry about that. I couldn't work out what was going on there.
I figured that's what it was, but that was fine. I was just trying to keep your little thing going.
Thank you. I mean, we're good with this. We know what happens occasionally, and we're prepared for it. But that was totally weird because Claire is the most kindest person you could ever come across, and she wouldn't cut across you. Right? So that was very strange. Right. Okay. So is Claire showing back in the room? And yes. And so we'll try again, and hopefully this time.
That should be
third time lucky.
Oh, I can hear. Yay! I can hear David now.
Right. Okay, David. If you can pick on your train of thought of a moment
Oh,
ago.
so I was saying, what I was saying was that one of the, because she was talking about health and fitness and self-journaling, and one of the things that I found I had to do to give me a better night's rest was to get everything out of my head. So
Yeah.
I spend the last 30 minutes of the day or the night, whatever, right before I go to bed, I have a journal and I just write down everything that's going on in my head. And I write down my to-do stuff because if I don't get it out, then it's just running. And I had, so that's one thing that I've suggested. In fact, a friend named Chloe, she was having trouble sleeping. And so I told her, I was like, get it out of your head. The problem that you can't sleep is that you've got everything running around. I said, and if you get it out, then when you wake up in the morning and you get to that, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Because it's there. You don't have to, I don't know. We have so much going on in our lives that,
Yeah.
it's just easy to get it out. Now Claire went away from me. Stephen, are you still able to see me?
I can't. No, Claire's gone away from. This is one of those shows. We can hear you,
I
Claire.
can see both of you, and I can hear you both.
Well,
I can hear you.
Talking. So
Right.
good.
Okay.
But that's a very good point, David. And I think it's something that if you wake up in the middle of the night worrying about something, it can be very helpful to have a pen and paper by your head to write down what it is that's going on in your head. Whether it's something that you're thinking, oh, I must remember to do that tomorrow. So you can write it down and then not worry about it. And yeah, very good point. Just generally using the pen and paper approach for doing a complete brain dump, particularly if people are feeling really overwhelmed. It's one of the first things that I ask them to do, is write down everything that is going on that you're thinking about, that is you're feeling overwhelmed with. And sometimes just the very nature, as you were saying before, of writing down, it helps you put things into perspective. You get a sense of what the priorities are, and either think, oh my goodness, where do I start? And it's all there, so you can start making a plan, or think, oh, actually, it's not that bad, and you start to see your way through it all.
Yeah.
I agree.
And one of the other ideas with journaling is to do the brain dump first thing in the morning. So you do a similar thing, write everything down, get all those little conversations that are going on in your head out first thing in the morning, and then it clears a bit of space to start thinking of, right, this is what I need to focus on.
Right. Yep.
That is a technique, I think it's called Daily Pages by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. That's one of the journaling things that she recommends, is doing daily pages.
Yeah. Because the problem we all have is there aren't enough hours in the day.
I think hers is it's
24, and it's how you use your 24 hours that helps you get through. And if you want to be like some successful mentor that you have, figure out how they're using their 24. There's not enough time in the day, but yet we all have the exact same amount. Nobody's given any more than any other person.
That's a fair point.
Exactly.
Stephen, thanks a lot.
Definitely.
Right.
And
so I can listen. Claire, it's wonderful meeting you and
good.
Your silhouette.
Nice to meet you too, David.
Okay. Cheers, David. Thank you for dropping by. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye. Right. We're back to me and yourself, Claire, and I can't see
Good.
you.
I can see you okay.
All right. I can hear
as long
you
as
as
they
well.
can hear me, then that's fine.
Yeah.
They're not missing much.
Okay.
And
That's good, David.
I think with the idea of, yes, we only have the same amount of time in the day, and it's one of the things I often hear people say is, oh, I don't have time to write my to-do list every morning, and oh, it's going to take too long. But it's that sense of either I don't have the right process, I don't have a system in place, which is why pen and paper is so easy. Is right, just write down the one important thing you're going to get done today. What's the second important thing you're going to get done? What's the one thing you're going to do to improve your health, your fitness, your well-being? We're not talking about pages and taking hours. It's even if it's a maximum of 3 to 5 things that you're going to get done today. What's the priority? Do the most important thing first, and when in the day you're going to get it done.
That's a wonderful summary, Claire. Right, I don't know. Well, no, see who's still with us. If there are any questions, no, the sports channel have left us. Right, okay. Well, we've got through technical difficulties, and I think we've covered most of the points that are in your blog. So, have you any final points that you'd like to make via your silhouette before we end this broadcast?
I think definitely create, if you having a to-do list is not something you do because you don't think you have time, or it's going to be too overwhelming, then yeah, that summary I just put out there about spend 5-10 minutes at the beginning of your day or at the end of the day and just see what a difference it makes. So many people have said how much better their day is when they plan it, when they have a to-do list, when they use their list, rather than just write it and forget about it. Use it to help you focus your time.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody who's watched us. Thank you, everybody. Well, Claire, do you like to say thank you as well? Because we don't know who's out there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone that's listening in. And yeah, do take a look at certainly those 2 posts on my blog, which give you the key details and the summaries. So those will help.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next month when Claire and I will be taking another topic, and with a good internet connection on both our sides, we shall move forward. But thank you, and we'll see you all later.
Great.
Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.